conservative party, the right wing of this country that at one time was the defender of state rights, now supports Donald Trump violating all state rights and taking and seizing power?
This is for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Hello, and welcome to the Think Tank. We use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and just pinch of common sense to draw unbiased and logical conclusions. Today, we're here to discuss Trump's ambitions, including usurping state rights, as California takes Trump's administration to court over plans to restart oil pipelines. If this is the kind of content you like to consume, hit that subscribe button. Hit a like. You'll get both sides. You'll hear from the Honorable Dion Powell, who represents the MAGA America First agenda, and from me, who represents the resistance. And you'll get a balanced, well thought out theory on each side of how and why you should support us. And you'll be able to use your own critical thinking capabilities to be able to determine your own path. But no further ado, the Honorable Dion Powell. Dion?
That's right, family. Hopefully you too got a balanced breakfast before you watch this episode. I'm District Leader Dion Powell of the Bronx Conservative Party. I heard, man, America First, borderline, America only type of Trump MAGA guy. And today we're going to talk about a few issues. And I just also mention that my past is like I'm a consultant and also community organizer and leader here in New York City.
So, Trump is trying to usurp state rights. He wants to place troops throughout the country, and he's floating the Insurrection Act, where he wants to be able to place Army and Marines. As we've seen in California about a year ago, or it's got to be like 9-10 months ago, that might not be the best idea. Army and Marines are not trained to deal with civilians, even though with the military tactics that we've seen on display at present, it's quite possible that this is exactly what he wants. He wants a utopian, utopian is the incorrect term. He wants a chaotic, viral, I don't even have the right words to describe the war zones that he's trying to place across America. Even as California fights to hold on to their state rights and not have new oil pipelines run through their borders, which is, of course, a violation of state rights, but right up Donald Trump's alley. What do you think about the fact that as an American First conservative who, before Trump would have obviously been for state rights, Donald Trump's usurping of power?
I think he's within his every right to do what he's doing. And if anybody has a problem with it, let the courts actually make a decision, which they've had before, and let Congress actually do its job and actually pass some bills and laws. And if anything, impeach him if they feel as though he's wrong. That's my thought.
So, conservative party, the right wing of this country that at one time was the defender of state rights, now supports Donald Trump violating all state rights and taking and seizing power?
He's not seizing power of anything. Unfortunately, the blue liberal states like Minnesota have failed the general public on the federal level's opinion. And that's why President Trump has to get involved. In addition to that, because of the 2024 election, his mandate to deport all these illegal migrants in this country actually goes down to the local level who is not being in compliance.
I see. And he wants to take that to court. He's literally going to court to fight state rights on being able to protect migrants.
Yes, the sanctuary, especially the sanctuary city laws, which were in place during his predecessor.
So, but he hasn't won that in court yet. So if he's doing that now without having won it in court, isn't he violating the Constitution?
No.
Isn't he violating laws already on the books? If he hasn't won in court where he can do this, but he's doing it anyway, isn't that a violation of the rules, which is why he has to go to court?
Well, actuality, if you think about Leo, what is he doing? ICE is trying to do his job. He's just talking right now. If you remember, he lost the court cases by putting in the National Guard in these states. That's why Governor Tim Wolf is putting in National Guard now. Isn't that interesting?
Governor Tim Walz is putting in the National Guard to try and protect the city because ICE agents outnumber police 5 to 1 and they're terrorizing citizens. But let's talk about the very plain listen, we don't want oil lines running through our city, through our state. This is something that we've stopped, and Donald Trump, because of his oligarchy friends that have, now usurped power in Venezuela, and Donald Trump declared himself king, is now saying, well, we want to run pipelines through California. Why should a governor have to battle with the federal government about whether or not they should allow pipelines to run through that they have clearly stated, declared, won in court they don't want?
Well, then that will lead me to our first presentation of Ground News, because now officially the think tank is an affiliate of Ground News. And this is where hopefully you guys all will get some of your information from the media. Because Ground News so far is one of the only platforms that actually ingest all the media sources from center right to center left from various media outlets. And as you can see from the topic that we're discussing today about California suing Trump, we can choose between left, center, and right. And if you use the think tank actual branding here, we're going to have it in the description. Click our link. You too will get a 40% discount if you use Ground News. And some of the wonderful features are it outlines who the media sources are. Like, for example, The Hill, they have it here as highly factual, and it's a center platform. It's kind of, famous, but also goes into the ownership. Where does the money come from? But then if you go down here to Fox News, you can clearly see that it's far right, or on the right rather, but it's mixed factually in its presentation. Now, one of the big things is that we highly emphasize here at the think tank is that you use our promo hyperlink URL and pass it on to your teacher, your college, or institution, so that way they, as an institution, will pay for it and you'll get access to them. So if you're on a collegiate level, you know how that can go. So that's my little plug and spiel. But one of the hot topics on Ground News as a paid membership with our promo is the Trump administration and Donald Trump himself. So as you can see, they go into very great detail about Donald Trump. And actually, so that most of the articles are left leaning, and it's only a few center sources here, and like only a fewer right side sources, as well as they break down things on Donald Trump and beyond. It also goes to sports and other areas of major media and how they cover that as well. Ground News, the think tank. So make sure you click our link in the description to get your discount or your nonprofit's discount because they're eligible too.
That is where to get the news. We do our research so that we can present to you from Ground News at the think tank, because you want to hear from both sides. It's easy to figure out who's on what side and where your news is coming from. But
not just both sides, Leo, all sides, left, right, and center.
Which is where I try to be at, in the center. But as you notice with Donald Trump, most of the media covering it is on the left because the right's trying to, it appears to me, not talk about what's happening while the left is. So what's happening is oil is trying, the Donald Trump administration is trying to run oil through California. California has the right to deny it, and Trump is trying to deny those rights. And as a far right person or even a centrist right as you present yourself, do you agree with Donald Trump saying that your state doesn't have rights? We're going to do what we did in Venezuela. We're going to come through and do what we need and get this oil because I have these people that have paid for my ballroom to take care of.
Actually, Donald Trump didn't say any of that. So that's factually incorrect. However, California actually needs the president to do this because so many companies are actually leaving California, especially the big oil boys. And this actually hurts Arizona as well as Nevada. So if you guys actually do your own internet search, if you don't have Brown News, you can see that over 25 major companies are leaving California. So they're taking their ball and going with them. Now, this is another independent platform, Microsoft Bing, but there's a lot of companies, Chevron is one of them, that's leaving California, which is going to hurt their economy. So this is where the president feels as though he has to step in and save the failing state of California. Number one, homelessness, especially amongst our veterans.
So the president who's failed every company he's ever touched wants to come in and save the fifth largest economy in the world, booming, that has never needed help. Now he's going to come through and put his fingers in. I wonder what kind of disaster will emerge from Donald Trump touching California.
But the disaster is Governor Gavin Newsom, not President Donald Trump. Because if Trump doesn't get involved, California's economy is going to fall anyway because all these companies leaving, which has nothing to do with President Trump, but more so with Governor Gavin Newsom.
Fifth largest economy in the world. They're doing something right. America is declining. The American dollar is declining. Donald Trump is doing something wrong. Or,
No. This is the local level failures that the federal government has to intervene on, especially when it's allocating its federal funding, which is mismanaged on a state by state level. So
actually, California subsidizes many red states. California does not need government funding. It's the fifth largest economy in the world. If you count the largest by GDP, gross domestic product, measured by the amount of sales done in a year for goods and services, which is, everything sold in a year, California is the fifth largest. So what does that mean? The United States is number one, right? China's number two. What is it? Denmark's number three. Oh, I'm sorry. California's number four. So it's the fourth largest economy in the world. And it was the fifth. It actually increased under Newsom and became fourth. That's why I keep going back to fifth. It's fourth largest economy in the world. And Donald Trump has bankrupted casinos there. He's lost money there. And now that he wants to come in and save an economy when his own personal economy, well, actually, his own personal economy is great. He wants to drift and make as much money as he can. And he's doing it with oil companies. That's the reason he's the oil taker headed here from Venezuela right this moment as we speak. Donald Trump is grifting and he's about oil companies. That's why he's doing 90% of the laws that he's doing. Well, I say good 30% of the laws that he's doing. He's propagandizing the reasons behind it. Oh, the auto pen. The auto pen was used to sign all of these laws that protected the environment under the EPA. Hey, everybody. This is your boy, Leo. You know me. Oh, stop. Hey, everybody. This is your boy, Leo. You know me. I've been doing commercials for 15 years, television commercials, radio ads, billboards. Now I'm trying to step it into the big leagues. I want to be an independent filmmaker. I've got the degrees, I've got the experience, and I need your help to make my first independent film, Garot. So Garot is Boys in the Hood meets Clue. So these dudes from Brooklyn is trying to buy their drugs to supply the hood. So they go to the mafia stronghold and they purchase their drugs, but one of them turns up dead. And now there's a race to find out who did it. The Godfather's going to send in his hit squad, Squadra Assassina, to take them out. They don't figure out who did it because somebody died on his turf and he's not happy and he can't have stuff like that happening in his business. So Please, if you want to still support my Kickstarter campaign. And now Donald Trump wants to undo all of them with one clean sweep by taking away the oil pen so that he can make oil tycoons richer. And by virtue of making them richer, increase his own wealth. Running pipelines of oil to California is a part of that very same thing that I've been explaining since early last year that he wants to do in order to use oil to increase his wealth like Bush did. And I'm talking about Junior when they went into Iraq. Now that I've explained that, do you think, and you're still like, none of that matters, let him into California?
Yes, because California's economy actually might decrease because Texas is increasing with all the companies leaving and moving to Texas, as well as regular ordinary folks, many Hollywood superstars. So a lot of people, they say they're leaving. They're all talk. It looks like it's happening. And it's not just hurting California. It will hurt Arizona and Nevada too.
So the reason this is the fifth largest economy in the world is because regardless of the fact that New Jersey is now becoming the East Coast Hollywood, it is not Hollywood. It has all the film. It has all the film studios. The reason that California is the fifth largest economy in the world is because all of the tech companies in San Diego. Oh man, San Diego, I believe. Well, the tech companies are all in California, in Tech City. Their economy is not going to be hurt very much if Donald Trump doesn't interfere. If Donald Trump interferes, well, he's bankrupted everything he's touched. This country is going down as we speak. The US dollar, when Donald Trump came into office, was at 70% usage. It's down to like just over 50%. He's destroying this country like he destroys everything he touches. So California, in my opinion, might want to protect themselves. And you're all for Donald Trump and later for state rights at this point because Donald Trump feels the economy, and I see that your economics wasn't your strong suit, as you just explained what was happening in California incorrectly.
That's it, correct? Companies are leaving California. That is a fact.
The companies are leaving California, but it's not putting a dent in their GDP. And that's a fact.
We don't give it a year, my friend. Give it 1 year, maybe even 1 quarter. That's the fact. But hey, let you do your own information research on ground news and see what you find.
And that's it. And any closing statements, Dion?
That's right, family. Because now, thanks to ground news, we are the media, and now so are you. So make sure you subscribe so that way the algorithm pays attention to us.
This is Leon Dion signing out.